Hey everybody, this is TF Now. Welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be taking a look at my top 10 favorite action figures of 2020. This is a great year for action figures, not just with the Hasbro stuff, but a few other companies released some great stuff. Some stuff I have been very excited for years that was finally released this year, and stuff I didn't expect to want and ended up getting and absolutely loving. Before we keep going, a couple of things though, just like with the previous top 10 lists I did when it comes to my favorites of 2020, which was the Marvel Legends and Star Wars: The Black Series ones. If you haven't watched those already, it's on my channel. The figures have to have been released in 2020. I have to have had purchased them in 2020. So that's really the only rules here. So we're going to go ahead and start with number 10 because I'm very excited to show you what my favorites are of the year. At number 10 is going to be the Jazzwares and Wicked Cool Toys Halo, the Spartan Collection Master Chief from Series 1. I'm very happy that we have a Master Chief figure like this. Now, some people will say that there are much better Master Chiefs out there. Objectively, I think that's true, but I just can't help it. This figure fits perfectly in scale with a lot of my collection that's predominantly in the 6-inch or 1/12 scale. And this figure is just, it's tall, it fits in very well with a lot of different figures I own. Not only that, but the figure itself just is really well done when it comes to sculpting. Could have better paint. I don't really like how the elbows weren't sitting all the way down as well. It does also have some quality control issues, and the weapons are a little iffy for this figure. So it's at number 10. It's the lowest on the list here, but I couldn't help but put it on the actual top 10 list because not only am I, a Master Chief fanboy, but this is just, I was kept my expectations low for this figure, and I was blown away with not only the quality, even though it could be a little bit better, the quality of the figure, but also Wicked Cool Toys and Jazzwares response to the line. They are going to be making improvements and making more figures, so I really hope we see more improvements from them. At number 9 is going to be the Cyberpunk 2077 V and Johnny Silverhand. It's very hard to choose between the two, so I'm going to cheat a little bit and put them both at the number 9 spot. But if I had to pick one over the other, I do think I would pick V. I know a lot of people are probably going to gravitate more towards Johnny Silverhand because, that's Keanu, which I understand. But I personally had a little bit more fun playing around with the V figure than the Johnny figure. The Johnny figure is great, though. Both these figures come with awesome accessories. They have a very good amount of articulation. Could be a little bit better in the legs, though. Mostly the upper thigh swivel. Pretty good detail. Some areas look a little iffy, like in the head sculpts. But overall, just really awesome figures. And I'm really hoping we will eventually get more Cyberpunk figures, even though when I'm recording this, the game has been released and it's a little bit of a buggy mess. But at least we would hopefully get some more Cyberpunk figures because there are a few more that they really should be making. At number 8 is going to be the Star Wars Black Series Cad Bane figure. It's my favorite Black Series figure of the year, and they just did such an incredible job bringing this figure out and just basically nailing the look of the Clone Wars version. And it can also fit with your more realistic figures too. They just did an incredible job with the detail, sculpting, articulation, the weapons that he comes with, as well as his hat and other accessories. And it's just a fun figure to pose around, and I'm very, very happy to have in my collection. At number 7 is going to be the NECA Back to the Future Ultimate Marty McFly figure from 1985. I have always wanted NECA to make Back to the Future figures in the 7-inch scale, and we finally got the figures this year for the 35th anniversary, and I think that they absolutely nailed a lot of the figures that have been released. I didn't get all of them yet, but I have the Target exclusive Marty, and I have this normal 1985 Marty. The only thing I really am not a big fan of when it comes to this figure is the likeness. I don't really think it looks like Michael J. Fox all that much, at least with the head that you see here. It's a little bit better with the sunglasses head, but the rest of the figure is awesome when it comes to the paint, detail, sculpting, as well as the accessories, and it actually has some pretty good articulation. So if you've always wanted Back to the Future figures like I have, your prayers have been answered. At number 6 is going to be the Marvel Legends Old Man Hawkeye. A little bit of a spoiler alert. You're going to see a couple more Marvel Legends on the list. This figure here is just awesome. I never knew I wanted a Old Man Hawkeye figure like this. And the body mold is awesome. Again, like I said, in my top 10 Marvel Legends favorites review of this year and whatnot, I really wish they would hopefully re-release this body mold in the future for maybe some mercs or some army builders, because it's an awesome body mold to be used only once. The figure overall, when it comes to the head sculpts, both of them are awesome, and the accessories are great. Detail on the entire body is really well done, and I believe this was made by or sculpted by Mayshelf, and they did an incredible job. We're getting to the top 5, and at number 5 we have the Marvel Legends Amazon exclusive Hugh Jackman Wolverine from the Fox movie stuff when it comes to Marvel Legends. Again, like I said in my top 10 favorite Marvel Legends of 2020 video, the only issue I have with this figure is that it's $25, and it should have been 20, honestly. But great accessories when it comes to the metal claw hands and the bone claw hands, as well as the alternate heads. I don't have the retail version. I already said this in the video, previous video, but I don't think I need the retail version, because this one here just really hit the geek spot. They did such an incredible job with the body mold, a lot of unique sculpting going on. Also, I believe it has pin. Yeah, I was double checking. It has pinless technology. I had to double check myself, but again, it is just an absolutely awesome figure, and I'm glad that when Hasbro released a Hugh Jackman Marvel Legends Wolverine, that they nailed it from what I've seen with both versions. I can definitely attest to this version, and I've seen the other version in person, and they both just look great. At number 4 is going to be the Marvel Legends movie Venom figure. It was my favorite Marvel Legends of the year. And yeah, it's on the list here. They did such an incredible job with this figure. I'm very happy with it. Again, like I said in my previous video, hopefully we'll get this body mold in the future with maybe a comics Venom. But the only issue that I have is that it doesn't come with any effects pieces for, symbiote effects. But I'm still very happy overall with the articulation, detail sculpting, and just the size of this figure too. It's very tall. It's like 7 to 8 inches tall. It's such an awesome figure. I did not expect to like it as much as I do, but it's my favorite Marvel Legends, again, of this year. At number 3, we have the McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Azrael figure. I did not expect to be putting this many McFarlane Toys figures on the list, but they really did a great job this year with a lot of figures. I'm very blown away by the quality of products that they released. And some of the stuff that I've seen isn't that great, and the stuff that I know isn't great, I passed up on a lot. But I really wanted to get this figure here, and this figure is absolutely awesome. It's one of the best DC figures I've collected in a very long time, just because I don't get many DC figures now, just because the licenses are all over the place. This is just really awesome. Even with the leg hindered articulation, like, no upper thigh swivel, this figure kind of has it. So there's not much I can hate about this figure. They did a great job with the accessory that he comes with, and it also has a flame effects piece. The articulation is very good. It's a little bit hindered in the elbows and wrists, but it still has great details, paint, sculpting. I really like that they have this really cool neck and head system for the articulation. It was really cool when I was reviewing it. And overall, it's a very solid figure. At number 2 is going to be the McFarlane Toys Mortal Kombat 11 Spawn. A lot of people have been very eagerly awaiting for years for Todd McFarlane to make a good Spawn figure that, wasn't from 10 to 15 years ago. And we finally got that with the Mortal Kombat 11 license, because the figure was released as DLC for Mortal Kombat 11, and I guess Todd was like, you know what, I have the license for Mortal Kombat 11, I'm going to take advantage of this, which I'm really glad that McFarlane Toys did this, because it's an absolutely awesome figure. I really like it. Now, the only problem that I have with this figure is that, like with pretty much every McFarlane Toys figure this year, it doesn't have upper thigh swivels, which there is a mod that people have done to improve that. But also, it doesn't come with any guns, just a sword, and then there's, different versions that come with maces and axe and whatnot. These guns that you see here were from Resin Armory on Instagram. If you're interested in picking any of these up, I was going to make a video on these. Maybe I'll hopefully eventually still do that. But I digress. Very awesome figure. Great details and mostly great articulation. Sculpting's awesome. Paint's great. And it's just an awesome Spawn figure. Even if you're not a Mortal Kombat fan, if you're a Spawn person, haven't picked up this figure yet, I think any of the versions you're going to get are going to be awesome. And at number 1, which is probably on a lot of people's list this year, so it may not come as a surprise, but it is the G.I. Joe Classified Series Snake Eyes. I have always wanted a Snake Eyes figure in the 6-inch scale. And when Hasbro finally released the figure this year, they nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. I have zero complaints other than my personal figure having a little bit of a defect. The ab crunch is a little loose, but even then I can keep poses with that loose ab crunch. It is such an awesome figure with great articulation, sculpting, details, very good accessories. Maybe not as good as the Hasbro Pulse exclusive version, but I'm still glad that I have this retail version still. And I have a ton of different custom weapons that I can use for this guy. So I'm not really missing out there. It's just an incredibly awesome figure that hopefully you all are able to get your hands on. I think it's a little bit easier now depending on the retailer you're going to, but it's just an awesome figure. Could not put it down at all this year, and it is my favorite figure that was released in 2020. So that's pretty much it. A very crazy list. A lot of McFarlane toys that I did not expect to put on the list because I usually bash on McFarlane toys. Good amount of Marvel Legends. Really no imports figures this year. They had a couple good imports figures that I got. That was mostly from SH Figure Arts, but I don't think they were good enough to put on the list, unfortunately. Hopefully next year I'll put some more stuff that was from Japanese imports on the list though. So let me know what you think about this list down in the comments below. Do you agree with any of my picks? Do you disagree? I'd like to know. I'd also like to hear some of your favorite figures of the year. That would be really fun. Thank you guys very much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Comment down below. And I will see you guys later.